What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to check out all the US release shoot 'em ups that we got on the Nintendo Wii. Here in the US anyway. Over in Japan, couldn't tell you. I never dove that far into the Wii, but the Wii is really synonymous with budget titles and shovelware, and in that mess of budget titles and shovelware, we did get actually quite a few shoot 'em ups. So the first game I'm going to talk about is a little game that came out on a few systems, but a little game called Astro Boy. So I'm going to start off by saying Astro Boy is not that bad, despite what you might have heard from people. I mean, yeah, the controls are a little bit wonky, and it's not just a shooter, it's also a platformer. And this game actually came out on, God, I think I own this on the PlayStation 2, the Wii, and the Nintendo DS. I know for a fact I got the Nintendo DS version. I think there's a PSP version that I have. I know this game came out on a lot of systems. Why, I have no idea. The developers behind this game are a company called High Voltage Software, and it was published by a company called D3. I'm not too familiar with either one of those companies. Who knows, I might have played a famous game that they published or produced. I'm not 100% sure. But this game is not that bad. This goes for a really cheap price. I mean, if you pay over $30 for any game on this list, you're crazy. This is one of those under $5, maybe even like $1.99 kind of things, but it is a shooter. It is on the Wii, and it is halfway decent. You don't have to just play this on the Wii again. You can find it on the Nintendo DS pretty cheap, on the PlayStation 2, but whatever system you do end up finding Astro Boy for, give it a chance for a really cheap, I guess, shovelware game. Shovelware or extreme budget title. It's halfway decent. Give it a chance. Astro Boy on the Wii might surprise you. Next up, we have the Monkey King. The Monkey King. Can't really see the title. There's that big sticker covering it up, but there it is right there. The Monkey King on the Nintendo Wii. Okay, so here we have a game called The Monkey King. And, you know, this isn't the greatest shooter by any stretch of the word, but it is a shooter and it is on the Wii. Now, it says, according to Wikipedia, this game was developed by a company called Opera House, and it had different publishers, Starfish SD, UFO Interactive, and Cyberfront. Now, there is a version of this for download on the PlayStation 4 in the PlayStation 4 store. You know, maybe that's one of the developers that worked on the PS4 port. I have no idea. So this game, it's got, I think, 4 or 5 levels. You do fly into stores, kind of like you do when you play Magical Chase, and you purchase upgrades for that level. Interesting thing about this, it's regular levels, there's bosses. Let's say there's 5 levels. You go up to level 5 and then you work your way back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the levels work themselves in reverse. I don't notice the difficulty getting worse in reverse, so it's just kind of an odd game. And if you don't have a Wii, you can download it on the PlayStation 4 and play it that way. And I don't know if there's any differences between the two versions, but like I said, I've seen it there. It's there. Download it, try it out, let me know about it. Again, this is not the greatest shooter. This is one of those extreme budget titles that UFO released on the Nintendo Wii. But if you do want all the shoot 'em ups released on the Wii, this is one of them, and you're going to need it in your collection if you're a genre completionist like myself. But anyway, give Monkey King a chance. You know, maybe you'll like it better than I do. It's halfway decent for a shooter. Next game, Saint. Up next we have Saint, and just like the Monkey King, this game was made by Opera House, so developed by Opera House, published by UFO, just like the Monkey King. And I do believe, just like the Monkey King, this game takes advantage of the Wii motion controls by tilting the remote forward, or the Wiimote forward, you go a little bit faster. By tilting it back, you give yourself a little bit of slowdown. You know, this isn't the greatest shooter, but I will say this, in my opinion, this game is a little bit better than the Monkey King. Take it for what it's worth. Now, this game was only 99 cents at the store when I bought it, so this is an extreme budget title and a shooter. So again, if you're looking for all the shooters on the Wii, pick this one up. It's super cheap. Next game, Ocean Commander. So this is Ocean Commander, and this game actually makes use of the Wii's motion control, so you can see a little dot, a red dot on the screen. You're actually moving your Wiimote to where you want the bullets and all your projectiles to go towards. And I know that's a turn off for some people, but this game kind of vaguely reminds me of In the Hunt. And if you guys ever played that on the PS1 or on the Saturn or maybe in the arcade, this, you know, again, it'll remind you of In the Hunt. So that right there is a turn on for me for this game. It's pretty cool. With the motion controls aside, this game is fun. It's very cheap, although I have seen it start to climb up in price, not by much, maybe about like $1. But it's pretty cool, and if you see it, you know, pick it up. You know, this is a game you can easily find at a retro store, at a GameStop. Super, super cheap. So you see Ocean Commander, pick it up. It is pretty fun. Next up, yeah, now we're talking the Ultimate Shooting Collection. So this game, guys, okay, this game, God, this is so awesome. Okay, so we have the Ultimate Shooting Collection on the Nintendo Wii. Now, I found this used at GameStop for $20 with an Elite Pro membership at the time, and was blown away by the lineup of games on here. So you have Chaos Field, which is probably the one you're most familiar with if you play shooters. You have Radio Allergy, and you have Kairos. I believe that's how it's pronounced. But Radio Allergy and Kairos both came out, all three of these games came out on the Dreamcast, and they're very expensive shooters on the Dreamcast. They only released in Japan. But Kairos and Radio Allergy have really pretty cel-shaded graphics that kind of turn some people off. But both of the games are awesome. They play great. You can use a GameCube controller to play these games. I can't recommend them enough. And the fact that they're all three on this one disc, and the fact that if you buy them on the Dreamcast, they cost so much money, it just kind of blows my mind. So guys, look online, see, you know, if they had this at your local GameStop or the closest GameStop to you, pick it up. It's cheap. The value that you get in this disc is just unbelievable. And you know, if you didn't feel like spending the $40 or whatever to get Chaos Field on the GameCube, buy it on the Wii for $20, and you also get Radio Allergy and Kairos. Anyway, Ultimate Shooting Collection is one of the biggest hidden gems on the Nintendo Wii, and it gets a thumbs up in my book. And finally, we have Castle of Shikigami 3. So last but not least, we have Castle of Shikigami 3, which in my opinion, it's the best shooter that's actually on the Nintendo Wii. So we actually got 3 of these games in the US. There's 4 games in the series. One's a spin-off adventure game. The first game that we got, which is Castle of Shikigami, or in Japan it's known as Shikigami no Shiro. That came out as Mobile Light Force 2 on the PS2, which is really weird. Mobile Light Force 1 came out on the PS1 as it's supposed to have been Gunbird 1, but it came out under the name of Mobile Light Force. And then there was a sequel, Mobile Light Force 2, which had nothing to do with Gunbird. It was actually Castle of Shikigami 1. That's what it released here in the US as. That's kind of weird. Then there was Castle of Shikigami 2 that came out on the PS2 with the terrible voice acting that I love, and then Castle of Shikigami 3 that came out on the Nintendo Wii with voice acting that's decent that I like. Anyway, look for this game. It's awesome. That's all I'm going to say about it. Okay guys, so these are all the shooters that came out on the Nintendo Wii, and when you think about it, it's really just a bunch of budget titles and shovelware. This is pretty decent. And you know, think about the last 2 games I showed you, Ultimate Shooting Collection and Castle of Shikigami 3. If you're a shooter fan, these are reason enough to own a Wii alone. And you can play GameCube games on your Wii, so if you add that into the mix, you got games like Chaos Field that you can already play anyway on the Ultimate Shooting Collection and the ever-popular Ikaruga. And, you know, when I think about cell phone games and microtransactions and the way that shooters are being marketed towards people now, it's not like this anymore. This was like the end of a dying breed. You know, those cell phone games and those microtransaction mechanics, you know, look at Skyforce that actually got a PS4 port, and people are paying like $100 for the PS4 version of Skyforce. Man, like, I'm not a huge fan of Skyforce. As a matter of fact, you know what I think about Skyforce?
That's what I think.
Skyforce.
The hell is your ass so dirty? Don't you wipe?
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to, buddy.
Yeah, so if you're a big fan of Skyforce, power to you. It's just not for me, so hopefully you guys thought that was funny. Just not a big fan of Skyforce. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you like the video, and if you like awesome video games, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Till next time, guys. Peace out.